Hello, and welcome to another live edition of the Don't Make a Weird podcast, where we get to come back again and be here for you guys as we release the Great Wars Anthology by Lost Boys Press. Man, I'm one of your co-hosts, Dana Quigley, and I'm joined, as always, by my better half, Dina Soros. What's up, Dina?
I'm a walking ball of anxiety, but nothing else.
No, that's fair. I'm just shocked that Lost Boys keeps bringing us back, and it has to be a bad idea. Like, someone has to stop this at some point, right?
At some point, but I mean, like, they're kind of stuck with me, so I think that means that they're stuck with Don't Make It Weird, too, right?
Yeah, I mean, until you guys kick me out, you guys have better options, Dina, but here we are.
What do you mean kick you? No, hold on. You're you're DMIW, you're not OVP, you're not the Jar Jar Binks filter, whatever.
No, I am. Okay, for people that don't know, I have a very important official role in Lost Boys Press, which is I am the Lost Boys Press official Jar Jar Binks erotica
not an official
submissions agent.
Not a thing.
Not a position. No.
And the third voice that you're hearing tonight is our benevolent producer, Sean. How you doing, buddy?
You almost said
doing
better
good, you guys. Better third. Welcome everybody to the show. Welcome everybody in the chat. Looking forward to having a good time.
Yeah, man, this is going to be amazing. And guys, if you're in the chat, please say hi to our very own Chaddington Ryan. He's in there as writing his war. He loves it when you describe his eyes. So, take a minute. Tell him how beautiful his eyes are.
The other day, I was in a meeting with him, and I, without missing a beat, called him Chadwick, and I don't even think he noticed because he's just so done with my bullshit.
No, that's fair. That's fair. I understand. Yeah, and listen, we got everyone here. Hannah Schooler is once again, present. Our favorite Lost Boys press intern, human. I don't know what's her official title. It's not Jar Jar Binks editor. You didn't give her my title, did you, Dina?
I would never do that to her. I would never hate anybody enough to do that to them. Love Hannah.
No, that's fair. That's fair. But man, I'm so excited. We've been talking about this book release for months and months now. I mean, this is exciting because it is a great mix of some established names that you guys know and some brand new writers getting to take that first publication journey for and it's this was us last time, Dina, and I'm just so excited for everyone else who gets to live this dream moment, man. This got to be exciting for you and Lost Boys Press.
Bro, it felt so weird getting ready tonight, and I was like last time we were in the same position, and I know what these people are feeling now because you and I have never been interviewed. You and I have never done anything, and last time we got to be in their shoes. It was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. And so talk to us a little bit because we don't have Ashley here to kind of give us some of the broad pictures, but from an organizational standpoint, I'm going to take off the DMIW podcast hat for a second, put on that LBP hat, and talk to me about that's beautiful. Your hair looks beautiful too.
Thank you.
Talk to me about what it was like working on this anthology, everything that went on in the background that led us to this moment.
There was so much work happening in the background with all the editors and readers, people going through submissions. There were so many amazing submissions for this. There were so many really crazy off the wall ideas that it was so hard to choose everything, and I don't have a say in choosing, but just having to rethink parameters and thinking about everything that has to go into it and how to make it this one cohesive piece, because you know how Ashley likes to make everything in this order, and it always has layers and meanings and everything because she's super smart like that, and it blows my mind.
Yeah. She's a mixtape professional.
And I also think that it somebody else deserves a shout out is our format editor, because Claire works her ass off for us, and yeah, she put a lot of work into this one, and this was a particularly hard one for various reasons, so she deserves a shout out too.
And what about some of the other people that worked on this? I heard our boy Dowie was involved as well.
Yeah, this is his first official anthology as editor, and after this he decided to take over our anthology sort of department, and he's in charge of that now. I guess he liked it. I don't know.
Perfect. And so for when Empire Beast comes out, because they're still taking submissions, deadlines in December, how does he feel about Gungans? Can you ask him for me?
Daniel?
I'm not going to ask him that.
Yep.
No.
Oh,
Daniel?
Yeah?
We're not trying to get sued by Disney, remember?
Oh, God, or sorry, Hungans. Okay, I apologize.
That's worse.
The Hungarians, if you will.
Hungarians. All right, guys. So we've got so much coming up. We've got a ton of great author interviews. We've got some giveaways, and we even have ourselves a little promo discount code that's going to be going on for the next 48 hours. So, guys, look at me. Make eye babies with me right now. You
Don't
want
do
this
that.
book. It's okay. It's fine. It's consensual. I promise.
No, it's not.
Guys, if you use a promo code GHOST, you get $2 off your copy of Great Wars. And I'm telling you, every story in here is an absolute banger. Lost Boys Press does not miss. And you guys have got to check these out because we've got some incredible stuff coming up. So, Dina, why don't you give us a little description of what Great Wars is all about?
So Great Wars is an anthology, obviously, that features historical retellings of war with one significant twist and how it impacts the war and history after that and things like that. So we've got 9 wars with a twist, everything from Henry V to the Great Emu War and Ghost Dance. So we've got Native American, Australian, British, English, whatever. There's a whole bunch in there. We've even got the Israelites versus Philistine War, and a special twist with that as well. So
yeah. Oh man, the twists were off the chain. There was a bunch I did not see.
People got real clever.
Makes me feel dumb. So to every author that is in here right now, I want to just say, how dare you? How dare you be smarter and more clever and more talented than me? Okay.
How dare.
Is it hard to do?
The bar is pretty low. The bar is pretty low with that. So guys, for the official, description of this, War comes for us all. In this anthology, 9 talented writers tell stories about wars from across a wide swath of human history, changing one key element to alter the war themselves. It's available now on Amazon, LostBoysPress.shop, and everywhere that you find books. Oh, I got goosebumps, man. Are you ready? Dean, are you ready?
Ready, Freddie. Wait, should you tell the audience about our drinking rules or no?
Oh,
I know it's not like a DMIW, but we're still abiding.
Yeah, but we still. It's a Friday night. We should all be drinking together. So Sean,
unless you're
what's our
underage,
drinking
please don't
rules?
do that. Please drink responsibly. Thank you.
Yes.
We are not requiring anyone to participate in this, by the way. For the record, nobody is required to participate except for Daniel, Dina, and myself. You're welcome to, however. It also means we're not responsible if you get wasted tonight. That having been said, we are playing Buffalo, which means we're drinking with our offhand. Dina and Daniel are both right-handed, which means they are drinking with their left hands. Keep in mind, if you decide to participate, your participation is logged for life. That means anytime, day or night, you can be buffaloed if you're caught drinking with your dominant hand.
Yeah.
Also, if you hear a buzzer, that means someone said a magic word on our buzz list and it's time to drink.
Yeah, no, that's true. We have all sorts of fun drinking stuff. And guys, if you like what you see here, always feel free to check out the Don't Make a Weird podcast. We'd love to have you get in on our shenanigans with us. And we talk a lot of great books and a lot of great authors, man. So it's a lot of fun. But
we have merch. Feel free to support the show. Thank you. Don't make it weird. DMIWpodcast.com/store.
Yeah,
Did I get it?
Probably. I don't know.
Sean's not
Nailed
gonna say
it.
anything. Yes.
Yeah, perfect. And guys, before we can go a step further, because we got a guest here, and it's super early in the morning for them, but I want to make sure that he stays up as late as possible. So he has to delay his interview for a second because, Dina, I'm feeling magnanimous. I'm feeling generous. Coming straight from my own pocket. It's not from my pocket.
No.
Yeah.
No.
It's not. Yeah.
No.
My company's.
Yeah.
Offers, but okay, thank you.
It's our company. Remember, I'm your official Jar Jar
No.
erotica agent.
No, you're not. No, you're not.
All right, guys, we are going to give away our first copy of Great Wars. So here's what we need. Sean, tell them what they got to do. Tell them, baby.
The key word is ghost. If you type ghost into the chat, you'll be entered to win an ebook copy of Great Wars.
Ooh. So that's right, guys. You can type it in the chat, and let's say you already got a copy. You can give it to friends. You can hand it out. You can put it in a little library. Everyone is eligible. Except
it's an ebook copy, so now they can't
ebook copy of Great Wars,
or put it in a little library. But
I mean,
that's okay.
They could like print it out, right? Like go to.
Well, that would be illegal. So copyright.
All right, then don't do anything I say, guys. I'm a bad influence. It's a bad idea, but guys, just go hit that ghost in there, man. Producer Sean, are we gonna give this another minute or two? Because
let's let a few people. We have a few more people who may want to enter, so we'll give it another minute before we roll.
Daniel,
the dice
quick!
here.
What's my favorite color?
It's steel.
Thank you.
It's corn.
It's corn.
I thought that's what he was gonna say.
guys, can I just say for a second that my wife is not letting me name my future child Cornelius, and this makes me really sad.
I'm very sorry for you.
Yeah.
Very sorry for your wife. While we wait, why don't we do a quick shout out to some people in the crowd here? Christopher Smith, welcome, buddy. Good to see you in the chat. Eric Johnson, always good to see you, buddy. Thank you for always supporting our live streams. Luann, hello.
Hello.
RM Hamrick, good to see you in the chat.
Shout out RM because she's been one of my favorite new people I've met on Twitter. Not only is she hilarious, her books look amazing. You guys gotta go check out our girl RM.
I don't know if I've met her.
Well, you should because she's awesome.
Maybe I have. Maybe.
Dina, you don't.
Dan Bowers in the chat. Kelly's in the chat. The executive producer. Hi, Kelly.
Shout out executive producer Kelly.
Ooh, Kelly.
Corey's in the chat. Soulsbane is in the chat.
That's a good name.
Matthew Sidak. Our
Sidak experience.
Our security guard for the night, Matthew Sidak. Welcome, buddy. All right, let's go ahead and roll this giveaway, you guys. Let's see who won.
Roll the tape.
Ready, set, let's roll. Ready, set, let's ride.
Guys, I saw Disney on Ice this morning, so I have like nothing but like Encanto.
Corey Stark.
Corey!
Go ahead and reach
King
out
of the
to
North.
us at DMIW Podcast on Twitter, or you can shoot me an email at Sean@DMIWpodcast.com and we'll get you all squared away, buddy.
The North doesn't bend the knee, Corey. Let's go. All right, guys, it is time to bring in our first guest. And guys, he is the four-peat champion. He shows up in anything the Lost Boy Press does because he is that amazing. He's been on the Don't Make It Weird podcast. We freaking love him. Stephen Howard and his story, The Death of Henry V, which is about the 100-Year Wars. What's up, buddy?
Not a lot. You good?
Yeah, good. How's sleep been for you now that you got a baby, you know?
Surprisingly good.
Yeah, just knock on wood.
My sister always had babies that slept straight through the night too. Like all three of them, straight through the night. She loved it. She was like, "This ain't nothing."
Yeah, I think it's like a rare fluke more than anything.
Yeah, for sure.
There will come a day where it just like flips, and she's
Are
like,
you like living on edge and you're like super tense? Like
totally.
One day I'm gonna hear the cry.
yeah. I wake up every morning like got through another one. Excellent.
One more night where I got some sleep.
Pretty much.
All right, well, we're going to kick this bad boy off. Dina, what you got for Steven?
Alrighty, so your story, The Death of Henry V. What was it about the 100-Year War specifically that drew you to it, and what inspired your twist for it as well?
Well, it's such a long-standing war. I think it went on for about 116 years in total, but I think Agincourt
it wasn't 100 years? Oh my god!
No, a little bit of a historical lie. But yeah, I think Agincourt was still probably the defining battle, despite it going on for such a long period of time, and it was something that shaped kind of like the cultural landscape of that era. So that was sort of what drew me to it, because I kind of felt like it was primed to have something twist that and have a significant knock-on effect. But then the main idea that I started with was kind of the slightly older, like druidic, magical kind of traditions, I guess, from sort of 5th, 6th, 7th centuries onwards, might make a good sort of starting point for that to have been real and continued through to there, and then to 14, 15 when Agincourt was. So I thought like there might be a sort of a historical precedent to carry an actual magical history through there. So that's why I threw mages in there, to see what would happen. But I thought it would play well against Christianity as well. And obviously the kind of later on in history, you've got sort of like your witch burnings and so forth, and that kind of anti-devilment and so forth. So I thought having a magical tradition that was at odds with Christianity kind of meant there'd be two historical traditions that could come together around that sort of time. So that was sort of where the story started. So that was why I chose to involve magic in that sort of era.
I mean, listen, I always support involving magic in absolutely everything. So I think
it was that as well. Yeah, it's like, screw it, magic. Why not?
Fucking
absolutely,
magic,
every time. What's gonna fix this plot hole? Magic.
Exactly.
But all right, so let me ask you, because my biggest takeaway was just how men can loudly declare how they took a great piss and rearrange themselves. But what would you like the audience to take away from your story?
I think an interest in that sort of era of history. In general, I've always loved history. I initially did it at university before getting lazy when I was 18 and dropping out.
Love that
and
for
obviously,
you.
Yeah. And my story is obviously not 100% historically accurate. So I think just people going reading up on it would be a good start from reading my story. But I think also the idea that war's contested by real people, and there are so many interpersonal conflicts that are going on, and you see a timeline and you see 1415 Battle of Agincourt, but there's thousands upon thousands of people who have been involved in that, the knock-on effects of all of those things. So I think there's always a lot more interesting stories kind of bubbling beneath that main sort of a mainstream headline conflicts. So I think reading those or being interested in those would hopefully be something that would come out of this as well.
So I know your writing style fairly well at this point, for Pete. So how did you Like, was it a conscious effort to sort of carry that conflict and that sort of resiliency through war throughout your story? How was that process for you?
Yeah, I think because I was writing from the perspective of someone in the English camp, and I guess the idea at the time was that they would be heavily outnumbered. And when I was reading, they were at the kind of the back end of quite a long campaign, being away from home for a long time. So there's a lot of sort of irritability, kind of tensions that are built up. So those kind of interpersonal things that I mentioned previously, they are going to be heightened. So hopefully you get that kind of the pressure building up. So the conflicts that you see within the story, you got a good idea that these things have been bubbling away for a long time, but kind of getting through that. I tried to give it a slightly more positive-ish twist, which is quite rare for one of my stories, I think, probably. But so hopefully that the idea of resiliency did sort of come through in
Yeah,
sort of
you
the
had a
main
different
character's
style
arc
for this
as
one.
well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I like to
And
mix it up.
and listen, guys, Stephen is known for changing around his narrative styles and experimenting with different stuff. And you kind of took a more traditional approach in this book. What was it about your narration style in this one that felt right?
Well, I think I was interested in writing a fantasy story anyway, because I'd been writing quite a lot of horror to Dina's dismay for a while.
Thank
So
you. Yep, keep that.
Puts them all in the freezer.
so
Yep.
I was kind of interested in going back to the idea of writing something that was kind of third person,
Like
past
Misty
tense.
Mountain, kind of.
Yep.
Yeah, sort of, yeah, just something that I suppose reads a little bit more traditionally. So I remember reading a quote by Haruki Murakami when he wrote Norwegian Wood, and it became a massive bestseller. I think he'd said that he just wanted to see whether he could write something that was kind of normal almost and fit kind of like a regular kind of arc and sort of a mainstreamish sort of story. And even though it's not exactly, he sort of achieved that, and it was a massive hit. So yeah, I thought wanted to try and return to writing something that appeared somewhat
Shout out if you love
normal.
Stephen Howard, check out his own original novel, Beyond Misty Mountain, in addition to every Lost Boys Press anthology. But Stephen, I think you know what's coming next, buddy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Stephen knows that we have a proud tradition that I like to try to make him embarrass himself or wake up his missus in order to my own immature entertainment. Now, in this story, you didn't give me anything that I could use as an animal sound.
Intentionally.
So you got a two.
I knew he was literally writing it. He's like, screw you, Daniel.
Yeah, Stephen, I don't appreciate you purposely coming for me and ruining my questions, sir. So you get a 2-part wild card question here, all right? Number one,
Lord.
another book in the series is about the Great Emu Wars in Australia. Could you tell
I
me
knew
what
his-
a emu, a war cry for an emu would sound like?
Sentient emus.
A sentient emu.
I think I need a sip of beer for this one.
Oh, he's like, prep the pipes.
Ooh! Ooh!
Yes.
Also, I've never heard an emu, so that could be so far off.
Yeah, listen, it was
They
I
really
figured it'd be
gross.
like more like no.
Just like that.
Wait, what was that,
Sounds more
Dina?
like a
Yeah,
bird.
Dina, can
No,
you
I
do that
can't do
again?
that
What was that?
again.
Yeah, I
What
can
was
do that.
Can't do
Yep.
that again.
Oh, okay.
And Stephen, based on your own book, I would like you to summon your own inner magic and show me how you would erect a magical barricade. Just get the hands out there, get the good facial expression.
I haven't got much room, eh?
Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Yes, that's perfection right there. Excellent magical barricade.
I hate
Oh
what you
shit,
put
one just
people
appeared.
through.
Listen, I love it. No, that was perfect. All right, guys. Again, you can check out Stephen's story, "The Death of Henry V," which is based on the 100 Years' War in the Great Wars anthology. And you can check out his book, Beyond Misty Mountain. And guys, Stephen, thank you so much for putting up with our shenanigans again. We freaking love you, man.
Thanks for
Can't
having
wait
me.
to have
Always
you
a
back
pleasure.
on again.
Bye, friends.
So, Dina, our next guest is a little bit different than our normal guests, right?
I'm so excited for this guest. I cannot wait to meet her because Shaliz, hopefully I'm saying that correctly. If
Yep.
not, you can yell at me. She's 16. It's her first publication. She's already won awards. I know that she's got a promising career in her future. Like she's so talented, and like everybody that read her story at Last Boys was like, "Oh my god, this is so good." So
She gave me such a massive inferiority complex. So guys,
for real.
Let's bring on Shaliz Bazldjoo with her story, Mixed Emotions.
Hi.
Shaliz.
Hi. How are you doing?
It's so nice to meet you. Good.
Hello, fellow youth of the world. How
You're
are
not
you doing?
young. Don't be that person. You're not cool. You're not young. Just accept that you're old and nobody likes you.
That's hurtful, Dina. That's so hurtful. Shaliz, how are you doing today, man? How are you feeling?
I'm good. I'm a little bit nervous right now, but I'm excited to be here.
Listen,
It's okay.
you
Nerves are
match your picture in the background. That's already better than anything I could accomplish. Like,
I
I'm
haven't gotten a
truly
chance
impressed.
to post her reading yet on TikTok, but she also matches in that, and that was the first thing that I pointed out. I was like, this girl's got style. I like it.
So Shaliz, let me ask you before we get into the actual author questions, how does it feel to be 16 and already more talented than everyone that's like on the screen right now?
Well, I wouldn't say that, but
Humble.
But-
Gracious.
yeah. I do feel very honored to be here. I feel like writing's always been a passion of mine, so being among like adult writers, like that feels nice. That feels very validating. So, thank you.
Oh, dude, that's exciting, man.
You
So we're gonna
definitely
hop.
earned it.
Oh, dude, absolutely. I've never been more terrified of an emu in my entire life. But let's hop straight in. What was it about the Great Emu Awards that appealed to you that you wanted to write about, and why did you want to make the particular creative choices you made in that story?
I'd say the reason it like appealed to me was just how ridiculous it was. Like, it wasn't grand, it wasn't glorious, it was barely a war. And I don't know, like I was thinking of something to do, and that just felt like the most interesting choice for me. And it felt like something like, you know, I wouldn't just be changing the facts, I'd be changing like the actual weight of the story. So yeah, I feel like for most of the choices I made during it, it was like to play with that idea of like being a little bit ridiculous, but at the same time taking itself seriously, like maybe too seriously.
Oh, dude, I love it, man. I love it.
You did so good, for real.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I know that it's like a ridiculous war, and like you did really good making it like this believable twist where we've got these sentient emus and everything like that. But was there any sort of message that you wanted to get across to people while you were writing it? Did you like want somebody to take away something and like walk away from this and like think about a specific message or recurring theme?
Yeah, I'd say like if we're getting profound for a minute, just the idea of like the absurdity of war. I feel like even if the story is like silly, it's a little bit goofy. I wasn't trying to make it like a complete like joke. Like it's still supposed to have some weight, some poignancy, and just that idea that like war can be horrific, but it's also a little bit like inherently absurd. It's a little bit crazy. I don't know if that makes sense.
No,
that
absolutely.
makes total sense. Absolutely. It's super accurate.
I mean, listen, Catch-22 is based on the absurdity of war, and that's one of the classic hits of all time. I'm absolutely with you on that.
Daniel's trying to throw in references to be cool and hip, and he's not.
Okay, that's not a cool and hip reference. That's an old book.
But it's cool and hip to you, so.
That's fair. Let me ask a cool and hip question. Dan Bauer, how dare you? First of all, I'm sorry, Shaliz. I'm sorry you had to see this hateful speech from Mr. Bauer here on the screen. All right. So as a youth of America, Shaliz, how do you feel about corn?
About corn?
Yes.
Oh my God, Daniel.
I like it. I think it's good.
Would you say it has the juice?
Don't do this to
I think so.
Fair enough. All right, seriously. All right, so when we think about stories that center on conflict and battles and war, oftentimes the baseline of them is the idea of resiliency. And in spite of the insurmountable obstacles, and the emus are taking over everything right now, right? Like, what is something that you thought about while writing this story?
So sorry, I got distracted by the comment.
No, that's the whole point of
it's
this
fair.
show
I
is to
deserve
get
this.
distracted. Go for it.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
I was going to say that, like, yeah, I'd say more on an emotional level than like physical battles. I feel like that idea of like countering oneself. Are you okay?
I just saw the comments too now. So
He's just being destroyed in the comment section. I don't know if you have your comments up on the right. He's being destroyed, and it's really good. Keep
I'm
going.
sorry.
You're
I'm so
doing
sorry,
great.
Shaliz. I'm so sorry.
You're fine. It's lovely. Yeah, like
Yeah, but I'm sorry. Just take me off screen.
Just somebody mute Daniel.
Stop looking at the comments, Daniel.
Sorry.
Daniel.
I'm so sorry, Shaliz.
I'm sorry the people in the comments are bullying you.
Thank you. They are bullying me. You're right. All right, we're talking about resiliency as a theme in your story.
Right. Yeah, I think I tried to focus a little bit on that idea of like the soldier's resilience, like confronting his own biases rather than like more like physical, like confronting like the insurmountable battle of war. So on a psychological level, I think it's an interesting like question to analyze.
I feel so inferior.
Yeah, goddamn.
No, you're just like, you're so profound, and I just really like your
Yeah, no,
observations on life.
Yeah,
Like,
no, it's great.
I'm impressed. So on a lighter note, not that we haven't been light this whole time. So, you've got sentient emus in your story. How do you think that they would compare or stand up to dragons in your world if dragons existed?
Ooh.
Do you think that they would beat the dragons or no?
In my world, it wouldn't even be a competition. They'd win. No shot.
She went straight. All right.
Oh,
Okay.
shit. Now we know what the sequel is going to be: emus versus dragons.
Emu versus dragons.
Absolutely. Good lord. Not even. She didn't even hesitate.
Yeah.
Jeez.
No. All right. So talk me through this.
Fucking
How are
dragons.
these emus taking down the mythic dragons that have now shown up in your world?
Well, I'd say like just through that resilience, to face insurmountable battles.
That's fair.
And that's
fair.
true. Emus are dinosaurs too. So
That's a good point. I didn't think about that one. So, all right, maybe I am Team Emu.
All right, so
Yeah.
before we get out of here, I do want to ask, because it is rare, and I mean this absolutely genuinely. You are a freaking talented author, and I cannot wait to read more things that you do, because this story was awesome. And when Ashley first hyped it up, I was like, all right, we'll see what this kid has to offer. Right?
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. And you blew it out of the water, and this is so cool. Is this your first publication?
it is. At the time that I'd submitted it, I hadn't been accepted anywhere before, so it was a really big deal for me.
Are you saying that you have now, like, other than this? Is there?
Yeah,
my
there
God.
might be.
The way that Dina's mood just shifted all of a
I'm
sudden.
so insecure. I wasted my life. Lord, good for you.
But
Thank you.
just in general, like, what are some projects that you have coming up the pipeline? What are some things that are going to be that you would say for people who are fans of your story, they have to look forward to you in the future?
If you're allowed to talk about it, based on your
allowed to
PhD,
talk
because
about
I
it.
don't know what you've been instructed on. So
Well, aside from like short stories, which I just do for like teen writing competitions, I don't know if that's your guys' area. I'm also working on a novel right now, historical fantasy, and fingers crossed I can get it published. But I don't know at this time. So.
Oh, dude, that's so exciting! And
Most Boys Press's email is open.
Right, there we go. That's how we do it. All right. So guys, again, Shaliz, thank you so much for joining us. We can, Sean, if we had the time to do it, we could do the Emperor Palpatine. We'll be watching your career with great interest. But yes, I can't wait to see what you got in store for us. I hope we can see you back here again soon with your next big thing. Shaliz, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Oh, God.
You know,
so freaking
thought I was a
talented.
child protege, and then you know what?
Yeah.
Guess I'm not that special.
Yeah, whatever.
Good.
You had a college degree at 16, Dina. Okay.
But she writes better than I do. I'm just saying.
Yeah, guys, this isn't hyperbole. This isn't just me and Dina like being
No,
nice.
I would hire her to be like a ghostwriter for me, for real. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, dude. Her. You know what, Christopher Smith? How.
I love these
Bully.
comments. Go back
Bully.
to Joey. He said Daniel's older than emus. That's my favorite. It's so good.
Oh, God. All right. Well, you know who won't bully me? This is our next guest. She is a huge supporter, and we freaking love her to death. Her story, The Ghost Dance War, appears in the God Almighty, Great Wars
Oh my
Anthology.
God.
Veronica S, aka Ronnie. What's up, buddy?
Ronnie!
Ronnie!
Hey, you missed an opportunity to match me.
Yeah.
I wear that shirt every day too.
Yeah, I know.
I'm sorry.
It's so you're like me and you don't shower. That's awesome. I
Daniel.
No.
What?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Sorry.
No.
Very hygienic.
No.
She makes really pretty bracelets too. Are you selling these? Let's pump these up real quick if you're selling these.
Yeah, are you selling these?
No, but I could.
Hey, slide into Ronnie's DMs in an appropriate manner, and you can purchase one of these.
You know. Let's have a.
Too.
Let's have a. Wait, you have Ronnie. Why don't I have a bracelet? Why did Dina get a bracelet?
I've got two.
I didn't. No, you wanted one.
I've got turtles and I've got Ravenclaw. Not a sponsor. It's not
Ronnie.
actually Ravenclaw because that would be a copyright. Whoops.
It's Ravenclaw adjacent. Ronnie, I just want
Yeah.
you to know that I would like a bracelet. I would wear your bracelet.
Oh,
and I'd be honored.
I'll see if I can.
$20.
Yeah, that's a hard no. I understand.
I'm her new representative.
All right, so let's hop straight into this because we had our first Native American Indigenous people's story, and it was, listen, dude, without even going into the spoilers, your ending fucking crushed me, Ronnie. It hurt my soul.
That makes me so happy. Sorry.
I was just like, oh, cool. Like, I get what's going on here. We got, Battle of Wounded Knee. Like, we're, it's fine. And then Ronnie's just like, oh, you thought that was a knife? No. This is the knife that I'm just going to twist.
That's very true, Hannah.
Hannah, how dare you?
I got super distracted. Yeah, wait, okay, go ahead, Daniel. Fine.
Yeah.
I was
So-
supposed to ask this question, but that's fine.
No. What was it about the Ghost Dance War, that appealed to you when you first started writing the story? Like, what made you want to break my heart at the very end?
Well, I mean, yeah, from the beginning, I'm a no HEA OG style. So that's just
That's why
be
we bonded.
prepared. Yes. Anything I write is not going to have a happy ending. I'm sorry. That's just
spoiler
what you're
alert.
in for. Yeah, spoiler alert. Sorry. Well, when I, got the call, read the call that Lost Boys Press put out, I was just, racking my brain thinking of stuff I could do. And I was like, you know what, because Heroes, I heard through the pipeline that they got a lot of the same stuff submitted over, probably like Robin Hood, there was probably 5 million, but of course the one that went in was the best.
World
But
War, yeah.
yeah. So I was like, well, what can I write that is different? And I am part Mexican and part Native American. So I was kind of looking at that, looking at, what direction can I go with that? And I was on the Googles and found a actual war called the Ghost Dance War. And when I read that title of the war, I was like, well, I can't not write about that.
Absolutely. I mean, it was such a unique and entertaining, exciting story. Absolutely freaking well done.
So I've read, I think, most of your work at this point, because for those that don't know, Ronnie and I beta for each other. But was there anything in this, because I know that this one was very close to home for you, was there anything that you wanted people to sort of take home with them after they finished reading it, and like something that you wanted people to ponder and to stick with them, whether it's a personal thing or like specifically about your story and characters?
Yeah, I mean, it was a tough thing to learn about. I actually didn't know about this particular war. I knew about Wounded Knee, but not even the particulars of that. And when you start deep digging into these things, you just go down a rabbit hole and you just find out so much more than what you learn on the surface. Just names and dates, and that's all they give you, and they don't really tell you the how and the why. So I would hope that people might take away that maybe don't just take history books, because especially right now there's a huge push to kind of bury the truth, the uncomfortable truths especially, and kind of gloss over it and say, oh no, it's fine, this happened, don't look over there. But maybe do your own research, find out what really happened.
And I kind of want to like piggyback off of that. Sorry to go off script here a little bit, but like I know that that's something that you have explored a lot. We've talked about like off air and stuff. Is that you kind of connecting with these different parts of your heritage? How important was it for you to write this story and to kind of build these new bridges towards like some of these things that are in your cultural history?
It was definitely a journey. I unfortunately, even though I am Native American, that's from my dad's side, and his mom, actually grew up in the Northern California Karuk tribe area, but she doesn't like to talk about that time in her life. So I don't know my story. I don't know her story. I don't know their story. All I know is, what I read on the internet. And I feel like there's a huge gap there for people like me. And I'm sure there's a lot of us that just don't have anyone to talk to, any stories to come off of, that are just like, well, I know I'm this, but what even does that mean? You know what I mean? So
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that that's an important thing. And I hope that you continue to explore this and to write more stories of this vein, because I just think it was haunting without that trying to be a pun. Legitimately, I was just like, I walked away.
For sure, like your best work. And Daniel's right, it was haunting. I remember reading it and it was the middle of the night and I instantly called Ashley and I was like, you can't wait for this submission. This submission is going to be so good. Like, yeah.
Absolutely. So, all right. So, Ronnie, I gotta know. All right. When you think about the stories that center on conflict, battles, and war, and God knows that of all the people, the Native American mythology, like or the Native American people in the history, it is a story about resilience, about overcoming odds. How was that theme for you in this story?
I mean, like you said, it's inherent. That is the building block of the history of the Native people. They had to survive. They almost went extinct. We almost are extinct. There are so few of us left. And, we have to take what strength we have and gather together. And hopefully, these kind of stories can bring more people. I'm still looking for more Native writers. If you know any, send them my way. But
send them my way too. Absolutely.
I can't find any. And so I'm hoping that this will at least maybe somewhere, will light something in somebody and say, hey, I have a story to tell too. Because we are resilient, just as a people, we've had to be. And hopefully that continues on.
Absolutely. Very well said. Thank you so much for that.
Daniel, I know you're itching to do it. Do you want to do the wildcard question for Ronnie?
Dina, are you sure?
No.
Daniel, would you like to go first?
Yeah. Dina, it's okay if I go first?
Why are you going to ruin that for me, Sean? You asshole.
The bit lives. All right, so Ronnie, I got to know.
Oh, no.
Do you think that Jar Jar Binks would be accepted in the Ghost Dance?
Feel free to ignore the question, Ronnie.
Next question. So, Ronnie.
Next question.
If the Cookie Monster were to fight in the Ghost Dance Ghost Dance War, do you think that he would help or hinder?
Very important question.
Yeah, the Cookie Monster and Jar Jar Binks would team together.
How are you gonna play me like that?
This is
I'm personally offended.
The best timeline.
Oh my god. No, I don't like it here anymore.
They're both champions of good.
They are
Stay tuned
champions
for the
of good.
unauthorized sequel.
Are you okay? Like, is he paying you to say that? You know what? $30 for the bracelet now, jerk.
The bracelet price just increased. All right, Ronnie, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Guys, you've got to check out The Ghost Dance. God, this story is amazing. Like I said, Lost Boys Press doesn't miss, man. All of these stories kick so much ass. And Ronnie, thank you so much for joining us. I cannot wait for you to come back on here again in the future.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right. God, she gave such good answers, man. I love that. That was,
She's so thoughtful.
I know. You brought Ronnie to our world, and I freaking love you for it. So
She was going to be a Facebook only writer. Welcome to Twitter.
yeah, welcome to Twitter, bitches. All right, guys, we are here to bring on our next guest. God, I hope I say this name right. Mark Mellon and his story Sea Battle, which is about the Napoleonic Wars. Welcome, Mark.
Hello, how are you?
So I heard that you are dressed for the occasion. You've got some French in you. Can you just give us a brief, just, I don't know, tell me I'm terrible in French. Just, I need to hear some French from you, man.
Okay. Je parle souvent un peu de français. J'ai souvent un peu de français. Most of what I learned from watching French comes from watching French movies. So,
Okay.
Cultured.
Cultured.
Dans l'écran, on the screen, in the screen.
And you got the hat on and everything. I mean, listen, dude, we support props on here.
This is actually a Belgian fireman's hat, but it's a nice kepi, so I wore it for the occasion.
I like that.
Yeah, no, I love that.
Merci à vous.
All right, well, Dina's going to kick us off, man. I hope you're ready.
Yes, je suis prêt, mon cher.
Alrighty, thank you. So what was it about the Napoleonic War that drew you into that and made you want to sort of explore that more? And what made you decide on your very specific twist that you added to the story?
Well, I've always been very interested in history. That's something I inherited from my father. That was my major in college. And I found that was a particularly interesting period, like the 50 years on either side of 1800. There are a lot of really very interesting developments, but the most dramatic one, of course, probably being the French Revolution. And I thought the most dramatic and interesting figure in that would be, Napoleon Bonaparte. I've always been very, very interested in him. And at the time I wrote the book, steampunk was getting popular, and I liked that seemed interesting to me, but I wasn't that interested in writing about the Victorian era. So I decided, okay, why don't I try and do a steampunk twist, only I said it during the Napoleonic era. And it's a fact, actually, that Robert Fulton for a while tried to sell his steamship to the French Republic in like about 1795 or so. So I took that thin thread and I used that, to extrapolate. And what I was hoping to do was write a cross between Jules Verne and Patrick O'Brian. And I wrote a whole novel called Napoleon Concerto. It's out of print now, but this is an excerpt from that book.
That's amazing. I had no idea. I mean, what a fun and unique concept, especially with the the steampunk elements in that ship. What would you like your readers to take away from this story? Like, what are some of the important themes that you wanted to get across in this short story?
Well, first of all, I hope they had, a rattling good time reading the book. I write to entertain people first and foremost. But for those who are like military buffs, like I am also, I was in the Army for 4 years and some change. I hoped also, they found it interesting, describing the technology, how exactly, the age of sail, how, the things that were to, how incredibly laborious it was just to try and maneuver one of those huge ships, which at that time were like some of the largest man-made objects in the world. So, yeah, I was, trying to hopefully, again, to entertain and possibly also incidentally inform people.
That's fair. We liked being accidentally informed.
Yeah, so, first of all, did I miss it? What branch did you serve in?
I was in the Army.
Hey. That's awesome, man. Congrats.
No, I'm a lousy
so-
sailor, so
I'm not gonna comment.
no, anything worse than a
So-
pool makes me seasick.
Oh yeah, real bad.
Yeah,
It's
terrible.
ironic because my dad was in the Navy, but he got really bad seasickness as well. And they
Yeah.
kept him landlocked the whole time because he was so bad. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm a sailor, not." Like, so what was it like trying to pull through that sort of thread of resiliency throughout and keeping this theme going, because we're dealing with such a hard topic such as war, but still trying to show a bit of a lighter element to it, kind of?
Well, the thing in this story was the British had the overwhelming advantage at sea, not just in terms of the technology they brought to bear, but also, the sheer seamanship and skill of their navy. And and the continued history throughout the Napoleonic Wars, with few exceptions, where the French forces or their allies would encounter the British, is they'd be hopelessly outclassed. I wanted to reverse that, and excuse me, the adding the element of a steamship, an armor-plated steamship, seemed to be the thing. And I also like the thing of just one lone element going out and destroying a whole fleet in detail. That's added to the whole spectacular quality of it too.
Yeah, listen, man. I mean, it was. I kept on waiting to see where it was going, and I was like, "Oh my god, it's just gonna wreck absolutely everything." So here's my wild card question for you, as a history buff, as a guy that has some military experience. You are tasked with Britain's defense against the steam-powered ship. You only have the technology and the knowledge that is available to you at that time. How do you take that ship down?
Oh, that's a good question. In another part of the novel, what they did was they built a fire ship. Oh, these silly things. They built what they called a fire ship, and they loaded it with Congreve rockets and sailed it down the river to where they had the shipyard where they're building the things. And it went off and came within a hair's breadth of completely destroying everything, just wiping out the whole project. That was one of the near misses. See, I tried to set the novel up so it wasn't a fait accompli, like it wasn't that nobody was just going to flat out win. There were spies in it, trying to get the technology, or also just kill the guy who was the principal, guy behind it, or sabotage his work. And there are, excuse me, there are also, military battles, there were sea battles, and then there was the culminating battle where Napoleon, with the Le Grand Armée, invades Great Britain, and they set up these siege lines in front of London, and there's just a climactic battle, ending with a huge, the lines being breached and a huge cavalry charge. Just trying to make it dramatic as hell.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. We love that drama. So, man, I'm with you. And guys, you've got to check out the sea battle based on the Napoleonic Wars in the Great Wars Anthology. Mark, thank you so much for joining us, man. We can't wait to check out all your other work and hopefully get that book back in print, man. Get that
Merci
back
à
in
vous.
print.
Merci à toi, monsieur. Monsieur.
All right, man. Thank you so much for joining us. Whew. Dina, my steampunk itch isn't scratched yet.
That sounds like you have a venereal disease. I don't like
Sounds
that.
like a really personal problem that we don't need to know anything
I
about.
don't need to talk about it. You tell us way too many personal problems. I don't need that one too.
Dina, would you just off air? Would you examine my steampunk
Absolutely
issue?
not.
Can I send you a picture?
Not a
No.
doctor.
No, if you ever send me.
Okay, I'm gonna send you a picture. Don't worry. All right, guys, it's time.
Orly, come help.
All right, guys, it is time to keep that steampunk thing going because we've got Craig Patterson with the Steam Legion based on the Roman-Persian Wars. What's up, Craig?
Not much. I'm excited to be here. It's the first time I've ever done something like this.
Don't worry.
Woohoo. Welcome
We'll be
to our
gentle,
next
baby, don't you
victim.
worry. Would you be willing to look at my steampunk
No.
issue?
Daniel, shut
I
up.
think I'll let a professional take care of that.
That's fair. That's probably the right move.
Not a doctor.
Not specifically, not like a professional or anything like that.
All right, man. So tell me, what was it about the Roman-Persian War that appealed to you, and why'd you want to make it extra badass? Because that's exactly what happened.
Yeah. So like any nerd, I made a list. And it was literally, what are my favorite conflicts from history that I think I'd like to write about? And what are my favorite like fantasy or sci-fi twists to things? And ancient and like classical and medieval kind of European and Eurasian history has always been a big thing for me, and especially conflict within that. I narrowed it down ultimately to the Punic Wars and the Romano-Persian Wars. And I kind of figured that the Punic Wars were maybe a more popular or well-known topic, and it appealed to me to kind of explore something that maybe not quite as many people, at least in my social circles, seem to know quite as much about. And the Romano-Persian Wars are fascinating to me for a number of reasons. We're talking about two huge multi-ethnic, multicultural, multilingual empires really just kind of butting heads with each other many times over a very long period, even continuing far after kind of the era that my story is set in. As far as what drew me to the twists that I put on it, I also, in my column of fantasy elements I like to write about, robots and mecha were high on the list. And once I decided that is something I wanted to add into the Romano-Persian Wars, like steampunk and like classical Greek science magic sort of naturally suggested themselves to me.
I feel like all of those are Ashley's favorite too. So I feel
Yeah,
like
I was gonna say
want to
if
pick
you
this
wrote
too.
Dina's right. If you wrote a list that said things Ashley will love, that's about like you
Mecca
hit
on
all
there,
of them.
100%. Yeah.
Cool.
So while you were writing this, was there a specific theme or something that you wanted people to really hit home, and that people were going to take with them and continue to think about, like a theme or some sort of emotional aspect that you wanted?
Sure. Let me see. One thing that I'm a teacher as well in my sort of 9-to-5 life. And one thing that I always like people to understand, or like people to know and connect with, is a sense of how our time in history is not all that different from 100 or 1,000 years ago, in terms of like usually history is more global than a lot of people realize. It's more interconnected. Different societies are more interconnected than it kind of says in some textbooks. So I love people to kind of understand more about that. In my story, characters are always kind of talking about the world beyond the horizon and how surprisingly close it is, and how much shared culture there is. Let me see. And also the fact that even the Romans looked back thousands of years into eras of mythology and history that they themselves had forgotten. I mean, a friend of mine put it great one time when he talked about, like, think about the fact that already by, say, 1 CE, the Romans were looking back 4,000 years into like Egyptian history. And that was just as ancient to them almost as it is to us today. And I tried to play a little bit with that in this story. That world being, full of mystery, just like when we look back into our own past, we see that same aspect. So those are big things.
And I love the teacher element to it, because I'm also fascinated with history and just finding ways to connect it. And like you said, to see that it's not, human history isn't as foreign as we would like to believe it is. You know what I mean? And so I guess when we think about, how this story evolved and all these different elements in the battle and the war, and, these people that, because of technology, basically became gods. What were some of these themes that came to you in terms of how this war affected society? You know.
I like that you kind of mentioned that aspect. The kind of my point of view character, Susanna, I really tried to look into what it would do to somebody to kind of be in this armored suit in the midst of a bunch of people using spears and arrows and such. Like, what would that do to his mind and his self-image? And there's definitely like a strong element of hubris that's kind of building throughout his story, throughout his experience of this conflict. I remember there was a video clip that I saw of like some soldiers in Afghanistan. This was a number of years ago, but like there was like an embedded reporter who was watching the way that they were interacting with each other as they were like literally like firing at like a caravan of, I want to say it was like Taliban soldiers or something like that was way off camera, off in the distance. And I just had this weird moment of the way they were talking about what they were doing sounded like watching a bunch of bros playing Call of Duty in like my college dorm or something like that. And it was kind of funny and kind of horrifying at the same time. And I was thinking about that when I was trying to characterize how Susanna would react to his own power in the midst of, all of these enemies that have so little ability to injure him until they do. But I don't want to spoil anything.
That's very true.
Alrighty. So we've got the Roman Empire versus the Empire, Star Wars.
Oh, shit.
Who would win?
So between the Roman Empire and my story, or the real Roman Empire?
Oh,
let's do Roman Empire.
Yeah, we'll go with real Roman Empire. Yeah.
Oh, man. I feel like the answer is really straightforward, but I feel like I could noodle this one for an hour.
Ewoks, bro.
That is such an excellent point. You know what? I've come around. It's going to be the Roman Empire. They're going to be the Ewoks of history.
Oh my god.
We need to put that on a textbook. Roman Empire, the Ewoks of history.
I don't know if the Romans would appreciate that comparison, but I think it's apt. I think we nailed it.
That's perfect.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, man. So just real quick, before we get you out of here, what are some of the projects you're working on in addition to being a writer? What are some things you got coming down the pipeline here?
What a good question. So this is my first short story publication. I'm very proud.
Congrats.
Yeah. Right now, the school year just started. I'm a 7th grade math teacher, so I'm very, very busy with that. I'm also, a father to a 4-year-old. He just turned 4 a couple of days ago. So
hey, congrats. Happy birthday to the kid, man.
Yeah, thanks. When I find the time to write, I'm kind of playing with some microfiction recently. I just kind of, to entertain myself, started doing a thing where I'd get like an AI to give me an art product, and then I'd write a story based on that. I've been putting those up on my Twitter to, a couple of people's readership, and that's been fun. I've also got some short story projects. What's that?
About to get that.
I didn't know you were on Twitter.
Yeah,
in the private chat, just go put. Yeah, give a shout out to your Twitter, man. We need to follow you here.
If you guys send me put them in the description of the replay for this video, so one can follow
Absolutely.
you.
Yeah, I'm at Malice Momentous on Twitter, spelled exactly like it sounds. So I've been doing some microfiction, and I also am noodling a story that involves human sacrifice and a hockey team that's not doing so well. So that's something that I've been working on for a while. We'll see how that goes.
Okay, you've got my interest. You got me there. All right, Craig, thank you so much for joining us, man. We can't wait to see what you guys got coming up. And guys, again, check out the Steam Legion based on the Roman-Persian Wars and the Great War Anthology.
Thank you.
All right. It's time. I hope she's got enough rum for us.
Rolling.
Because we've got MJ Falke on here with What's Left for the Old Gods based on the Greco-Persian Wars.
Hi.
Hi, MJ.
Cheers.
Yes, I'm almost out, but it's okay. Cheers.
All right, man. So super exciting. Dina's gonna knock us off because I've got some questions about your little twist here, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a second, MJ. Dina, what do you got for us?
Alrighty. So, what is it that attracted you to the Greco-Persian Wars? Why did you decide to go with them? And what gave you your idea for your twist?
I have been obsessed with Greek mythology since I was a very, very tiny. And it's like, I have a copy of, don't come at me for the pronunciation, but the Delaris Book of Greek Myths, the illustrated Greek mythology book that I read until the cover fell off when I was a kid. I still have the copy and the detached cover somewhere on my bookshelf.
I love that.
So I had a big list of different wars that I was thinking of and was going through all the different, the Greek wars, like the Greco-Persian wars and that sort of stuff, and trying to avoid stuff that's been done already and done very well. It's like I could have done Troy, I could have done Achilles and Patroclus, which I was thinking of, but Madeline Miller with the Song of Achilles has that pretty much nailed. I couldn't come anywhere close to that.
Holy crap, Madeline Miller does some amazing stuff.
And then the inspiration for my twist is, the funny thing is that I actually was going to go full on like aliens. And I suggested that idea to one of my beta readers, and he said that I needed a stronger idea. So I just kind of went back to the drawing board, and it just came up to, what if the gods were actually real rather than something that was just worshipped in a temple or whatever? And that just kind of went from there.
So listen, just to piggyback off of that, because I don't want to give away the final twist and spoiler, because you definitely caught me off guard with that. I thought I knew where the story was going. Then you flipped the script on me. It sets up that you could write a novel off of what you did here with that final twist. Is that something that maybe you're willing to expand this short story into something bigger?
I probably could. And it would be a really fun world to play in. But at this point, it would be probably 7th or 8th on the list of things that I need to get done.
I feel that.
In the same
I feel
boat.
that. Yeah, I was going to say, I get that 100%. Well, I hope that, maybe when it gets down to 7th or 8th on the list, you think about it. But what would you like your readers to take away from your story?
I probably to always trust your gut, because there's a lot of modern society we're really taught to rely on what we can see, what we can hear, what we can taste and touch. And we're taught to ignore our instincts and taught to ignore that gut feeling that 9 times out of 10 is usually right. So that's just kind of where I went with Athena's whole arc there.
Yeah, just I love that. That's a great thing, is trusting your instincts on that, because it's true. Whether it's your subconscious or something else, there's something that you're picking up. So I love it.
For sure. What was it like to try to keep this sort of resiliency and like this resounding hope? I know that hope wasn't necessarily Great War's theme, but you had this sense of hope going throughout and sort of this comeuppance almost. What was it like trying to pull that throughout the story?
Well, without getting too much into the twist, the thing with specifically the Battle of Marathon is it was literally win or you're going to lose Athens. The Persian commander was so confident that he was going to win that he actually allegedly brought ships that were weighted down with marble, because once they sacked Athens, they were going to set up a statue to their leader in the center of Athens as like a testament of their conquest. So it was literally, I mean, war is always do or die, but at this point it was, sorry, brain short circuit.
No, you're good.
It was, you have to win or you're going to lose literally everything. So it's trying to keep up with that. And even with, like you were saying, hope wasn't really the theme, but having that little bit of hope that maybe, just maybe, we could win and actually save the day. So that's what I was trying to go with.
Fair enough. No, and like I said, man, that's probably one of my favorite little twists in this entire anthology. Was like I said, I'm not gonna give it away. You guys have to check it out. You guys have to read her story. You're not gonna get it from me. But let me ask you, MJ, are you a gamer at all?
Yeah.
Do you play Mario Kart?
Are you a
Mario
gamer? If
Kart
you
on
play
the
Mario?
SNES many years ago, but
Ooh. All right, well then we'll go in a different direction. What's your game of choice? What's your video game move?
the game that I play or the move that I would go with?
The favorite game. What are you playing?
Dragon Age series.
Oh. So Athena has been transported to the Dragon Age series with her end of book abilities. How does she do?
Depends on who she runs into, because I have a feeling she could befriend just about anybody, but the first person that she tries to take on with her end of book abilities, she's going to get knocked on her ass.
Love it. That's fantastic. And I'm going to ask you the same question we're asking a lot of these guys on here. What do you got coming down the pipeline? What books are you working on? Because you said you got 8. Like, what's number 1 on the list right now?
Number 1 is technically number 2, because my first book actually just released a week ago. It's Singing Starcross.
Has it been a week already?
Almost a week. It'll be a week tomorrow. It was
Okay, I was
a
like, I
Saturday
just
release.
retweeted that. I thought that it was way sooner. Okay. All
Plug
right.
it, man. Tell us. We're going to give you the platform right now.
good.
Tell us about your book that just came out.
It's an urban fantasy romance called Singing Star-Crossed Scales, and it pairs a bartender who's trying to break into the music scene with a Lianshi who is trying to find his next feed.
Oh,
Told you
Bit of a
Sounds
star-crossed
nice.
lovers thing going there.
you got your Irish mythology on here. Okay, I'm with you. Awesome. Well, hey, we appreciate you so much for coming on the show. Again, check out What's Left for Old Gods, based on the Greco-Persian Wars in the Great Wars Anthology. MJ, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
So before we move on, Daniel, we are going to give away another ebook copy of this book, Great Wars on ebook, except this time we're going to type emu into the chat. So if you want another chance to win an ebook copy of Great Wars, type emu into the chat. And this is a good chance for any of our contributors or hosts to run to the restroom or get another beverage.
I urinate on myself like an adult. You already know this.
I
sorry,
wasn't going
Mom.
to call you out, buddy. I
Yeah.
just, I was being intentionally vague.
Oh, that's fair. No, and I appreciate that. And guys, if you want your emu to count double, please just go type into the chat what you think an emu sounds like. Like just type it out. Just
You don't have to
alliterate.
do that.
But that'd make me happy. And isn't that the most important thing, Sean? Sean?
I suppose it is, buddy. That's the only thing in the world that matters, is making you happy.
That's right. This world revolves around me, my friend. And, I hope you guys will be part. Dan Bauer, that is not the right word to put in there. Luann thinks it sounds like merp, merp. So I like that. Luann's got an extra, Sean, can you just clip that for me? Just go ahead and.
Yeah, I got you, buddy. Boop.
Thank you.
It's done.
Like the Roadrunner. No, I appreciate that. Oh, hi, Dina. Welcome back.
First of all, you're not the only one that matters. Thank you.
Agreed.
Y'all know that I'm the most important person on the show.
Okay, that's fair. Hannah has got a great emu sound. It sounds like scream or
Ow.
ick. I like it.
That's the sound that I was making. The
Oh, she did it again. Hooray.
clip it.
Clip it.
All right, you guys, let's see who won our second giveaway.
All right.
I really got to get a drum roll sound for this, don't
Yeah,
I?
you really.
Such good
Oh,
timing.
Dan Bauer. Let's go.
Incredible.
I'm really proud of that timing.
Yeah, no, that was really good. Emu sounds like some very sad songs. Yeah, we're gonna have emo
The
emu.
darkness, my old friend.
Yeah, how is that not a band name? Is the emo emus? That's a band name.
Bet
right
it
there.
is. Bet. Sean, Google it. To the
Sean,
Google board.
Say that
Sean,
again.
get to the Google. The emo emus.
It's so funny. I love dead air. It's so fun.
No, it's good. I'm just thinking about cooking an emu right now, so I want to eat one. But
Daniel,
do you think it'd go well with corn?
You probably can't hear me because you're a dick.
No, I can hear you whisper.
Okay.
Yeah.
I certainly hope you guys aren't waiting on me while we're already running late
what
for
are we
the
doing?
show.
I'm
right,
so sorry.
sorry.
Are we supposed to be doing
It's
something?
time to get back to the guests. We're gonna have Ben H. Rome to raise a nation. Giants must fall from the Israelite-Philistine War. Ben, what's up, buddy? Hey,
Gio, how you doing?
Oh, there it is. This is the guy we've been waiting for, Sean. This is that dude. He's got the Legos.
Wait, I gotta look
I
at
am that dude.
He's got the Legos. What? All right. Quickly, before we get into anything, what Legos do you got behind you? Because I've heard you've got an incredible collection.
So you can't see the 360 of my office space. This is actually maybe 20% of what I own. Behind me is my Star Wars collection. Over there is my Bits box. I have other sculptures here. I have a full layout that I actually displayed at Brick Fair, partially still on the floor because I haven't put it away yet. But I think the last count was 184 sets, full sets. I think my piece counts over 12,000. So,
Sean, I'm going to let you ask the first question here about the Legos, and we'll get to the book in a second.
No. See, Ben is posturing. He's nervous about talking about his story, so he wants to talk about Legos. We're going right to the story, Ben. I love your collection, but let's get to why we're here.
Distraction.
That's fair. We'll talk off air about Legos. All right, man. So, what was it about the Israelite-Philistine War that appealed to you when you first started writing this, and what made you do a absolutely unique twist on this story?
So when I saw the call, which actually was the day before it was due, so that was fun.
Love that for you.
Yes. So I started to think about like what are really recognizable battles that people would immediately identify with, so I didn't have to ramp up and explain. The one tale that most of the world knows, even if they're not religious or follow any ancient text, is David and Goliath. So I challenged myself with 24 hours. How do I make it different than the obvious twist, which is David loses? That's the obvious twist, right? That he doesn't win.
Yeah.
But how do I make it different? And so by taking an iconic battle like that and finding a new way to present it is a challenge. And then you tie that with the time challenge. And it was something I kind of lived for. So that's what I did. So you asked, the second part is why this iteration? And when you read it, you'll understand why I say the twist is not that David dies, because that's not the what if moment. So all of these tales are based on a what if moment where if one thing happens in a different direction. The thing about my story is the what if actually happens before David loses. It's not actually the battle itself. And if you want me to spoil it, because it's kind of essential, but basically it ties back to what Michal's decision was before all of this happened and why she chose to do that. That was what the what if is. So basically, how would a strong-minded, confident woman handle such a massive catastrophe to her nation?
Yeah.
I like that. So based on that and how she handles everything, was there a specific thing that you wanted people to take home with them after they read the story, or no?
Yes, absolutely. So at the key moment of the story, the prophet Samuel tells Michal, with the weight and authority of God. So this is just not mansplaining here. This is, prophet Samuel, he speaks God's voice. He tells her she is not to blame for what unfolded. That choice, fundamentally given to us, is made from the heart. That's her revelation moment, that everyone, no matter who you are, has the capacity, the choice to be the authentic you. That strength and will resides in all of us, and great and amazing things can come from that.
And so, like, with that story, because out of all the stories here, and all of them do a great job of exemplifying this sense of resiliency. But this one, I thought the story is over. Like you said, the obvious twist. I thought that David losing was the obvious twist. And then I was like, okay, this, this book's not over. It's got,
Yeah.
So what kind of talk to us about that theme of picking yourself up in that feeling of resiliency and choice that you explore in the story?
So once I got to that point and I realized, I couldn't leave it just with her knowing that it wasn't her fault, that she's absolved of this. She absolves herself of this guilt that she's already started to layer on herself. So I kind of thought around about it. So a lot of my writing is sometimes is inspired by things around me. And this story, actually, McCall was inspired to me. My wife here was my inspiration. She was the model of McCall for this story, because my wife has overcome incredible stress and circumstance for many years because she tapped into the core of who she was and is, and her authentic self, and staying true to that is what inspirational leadership and what makes her worthy of winning that war. And that right there is what I needed to finish off with McCall, that she had to come back, not just doing her duty and coming back victorious, but then also being elevated because of who she was.
That's a hell of an answer. Wow.
Sorry, I mean that's
that was incredible.
No, that's
yeah. I mean, all my writing over the last 25 years has always been layered, and I've always endeavored to do that. That it entertains and creates and inspires on multiple levels, and even with 24 hours, and that's my pressure time, and that's when the best stuff comes out of me.
So all right, so we
Bernie
got.
said I lost track. I was engrossed.
I know. I was super into that. So,
no, because it just hits home. Like
yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
No, and absolutely, man. And I love the hidden meaning behind that. I had no idea. So I'm going to give Dina a second to come up with her wild card question, because I got to ask you about
is
the.
it wild card?
Oh yeah, I got to ask you about the necklace here.
So this is so I have blood ties back to Eastern Band of Cherokee Indians in Carolina and Tennessee. So this was from a bead artist actually out of Taleka in actually the nation of Cherokee in Oklahoma. Actually, no, that's not true. The first one I had was from there. So we went down we've gone to the reservation a few times. I'm not from there, but I have ties back into that area with family. And they have a beautiful art center there, that the Kala, and they have all these indigenous artists in the area who put their art there as a collective. And there's so much amazing jewelry and pottery and statuary and glasswork and everything else. I walked away with 4 or 5 different chokers. And so whenever, where I'm out or whatever, I always try to wear, because I mean, I'm sorry, Ronnie said it best. Indigeneity is everywhere and no one knows it because we've been stamped and trying to suppress and, trying to stand out. That's why I'm wearing the Waterbird shirt. That's awesome. So yeah, woo, show it off.
Yeah,
I like that a lot.
So this is by a Choctaw artist, Johnny J. She's on Twitter and Facebook, and she's an amazing artist. She does a lot of indigenous T-shirts and quilts. She's also a digital artist and a speaker, and she's an amazing person who's fighting lupus. But she does not let that stop her. She and I have been online friends for a long time, and I always support her whenever she needs, whenever she's looking. She makes amazing art, and this is just an easy grab. So,
hey Sean, do you think on the link later when we post this, you could add something for her?
Yeah, Ben, if you send me the information, I'll throw it into the description with everyone's socials.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I'd be happy to do that.
That's awesome. And listen,
let's get lighthearted for a second.
Let's do it.
Took me out. Big Bird versus Goliath. Do you still think that Goliath would be taken down?
Yeah, he'd have fried chicken that night.
You said Big Bird doesn't have a single chance.
Nah, you'd actually need 5 big birds to feed Goliath and his brothers. I think he'd be hungry after the first one.
No, that's fair, man. Well, hey, listen, maybe we'll get you and Ronnie connected up, and we can, start getting some more of that, indigenous, Native American authorship, man. Because I'd love to read more of what you write. So, I mean, if you have anything out there that you want to plug right now, man, hit us with it.
So, I mostly do game writing, and right now I'm a content director for Renegade Legion Universe, which we do a lot of short story and anthology work. We're working on an RPG. We try to highlight diverse voices, and we had the amazing opportunity to have Marcy Rockwell, who's a medicine woman. She had actually an award-nominated story in their last anthology called Stepping Stones. It was pretty awesome. So we celebrate a lot of diverse voices in this game, and that's what we're developing. Our second anthology is due out in the next couple of months. I have a story in that called Fractured State. Like I said, the Xenovita RPG will kickstart next year, probably in the spring. And then I also in the works with the International Association of Tie-in Media Tie-in Writers, which is a group that I belong to. We do all tie-in work, which is working in others' IPs. We are putting together a public domain anthology, which I have a story that's coming out featuring a pair up with Bastet and Fenrir, who are going to thwart the evil machinations of Quetzalcoatl, which looks pretty interesting. So that's currently in Kickstarter right now for another 2 weeks. And you can actually I'll drop your name in the book if you buy one of the add-ons that we have there. So just shameless plug of our Kickstarter.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's
So
also
would
get
you
a
be
link
willing
for the Kickstarter?
Yeah, absolutely, man. We'll get that all in there. We absolutely want to support you, man. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Ben. We can't wait to see all the future things that you've got going on, and absolutely, we'll see you next time. Check out his story. To Raise a Nation, Giants Must Fall, based on the Israelite-Philistine War. All right, we've got 2 guests left. So everyone that's been hanging out with us, thank you so much. We love getting to do this and interview these authors and spend time with you guys. So that means that we are coming up next with Eric. God, I'm so sorry if I mispronounced your last name. Avedissian. Make Love Not Warcraft, based on World War I.
Thank you.
How terribly off was I on the last name?
Oh, you butchered that. Yeah.
Wait, what's the proper pronunciation?
Avedissian, yeah.
Avedissian.
Oh, wait, I was right?
You were right, yeah.
Hell yeah. Point for me.
Mm-hmm.
I made it all the way to our second to last guest before I butchered the name. Eric, I'm so sorry, man.
Now you've summoned a demon.
Daniel just sucks. It's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Now we have summoned a Lovecraftian demon. And this is our last episode, guys. So sorry about that. Sorry,
Wait,
world.
what? I can't live without. Don't make it weird.
All right. Yeah, we can't do it. We need it. Dina, kick us off, kid.
Alrighty. Did you just call me kid?
Yeah, you're significantly younger than me.
Not even 10 years.
I think you're mathing wrong.
How old are you now?
Dina,
Don't call me a kid, bitch.
I was born in 1985.
Don't
Dina.
make me do math, motherfucker. Okay.
All right, we'll get back to it.
What about World War I was it that drew you in, and what was the inspiration for your twist?
Okay. Well, yeah. Well, yeah, I've always been a fan of history, and World War I, was the first mechanized war, first war to use all this new technology, airplanes, tanks, chemical warfare, trench warfare. And it was just this brutal, bloody, visceral war. So if you're going to write about war, I want that. I want the mud. I want the trenches. I want something really just horrifying and horrible and utterly pointless, and something that completely changed the 20th century, like up until that point. It wasn't a grand, fun little war. It wasn't like it was in, the old movies. Blackadder goes forth and the comedies and things like that. But yeah, so that's what I liked it.
Absolutely. And so like there's a lot of interesting themes just in terms of the brutality of war and just some of the just horror, which I know Dina loves. What were some of the themes that you would want readers to take away from when they check this story out?
Okay. Well, just how it's about Lovecraft, and you have to understand about Lovecraft and who Lovecraft was and what he wrote about. He was a writer from the 1920s, horror writer who wrote these pulp, strange, weird horror stories, this weird fiction about these giant godlike alien creatures, and man was just insignificant compared to them, and you either end up dead or insane. And with Lovecraft comes a lot of baggage because he was a horrible racist and a terribly bad person. And, you know, I was reading an article in 2020 about, you know, can Lovecraft's reputation be salvaged? Like, what can we do about that? And a lot of people are going to cancel him. So I thought, let me just write a story where I send him off to the trenches and torture him. And, you know, incidentally, when doing my research, I found out that he actually did try to enlist in the army, and his mother put the kibosh on that and said, you know, my son has a delicate disposition. He is, you know, unstable, and she canceled his military career before it even started. So I said, let me just continue that and see what happens if he actually did enlist. What would he have gone through with all of his prejudices and with all of his, you know, this former blue blood, you know, isolated in, you know, Providence, Rhode Island, sent him out in an alien environment, and he has to go and, you know, see if he could survive it. And I guess I'd like people to take away the fact that anyone can actually change. You have to find out what you're made of. And there's one scene in it where he's, you know, he needs help and he's rescued, and that completely changes his entire outlook. Which I think I want them to take away that, you know, even a monster like him could, you know, see the value in uniting with other people and fighting an even bigger foe.
So, kind of going back to earlier, hope wasn't necessarily the theme for Great Wars, but you had sort of this sense of you went from hope to hopelessness to hope again, and you kept that theme kind of running, and it tied kind of in with like the signatures of the letters and everything as well. So, was that intentional, or how did that all pan out for you?
Yeah, I wanted that to change. The letters to his mother, I wanted his tone to change based on what he was experiencing. So yeah, that kind of was intentional.
Absolutely. And I mean, absolutely well written. And I think Dewey makes a great point. If Sean, if you don't want to mind putting that up there. Just in terms of, yeah. You know, because he says that this is one of my favorite stories. You capture the voice well, and you know, doing all that experience. And I think that you touched on something interesting. So I'm gonna change up my wild card question here for you, man. You picked Lovecraft because he's basically a terrible human being, and you put him in a torturous situation. If you had the opportunity to take another monster from history and put them in another absolutely god awful situation, who would you pick, and where would you put them?
Yikes. Wow, that's a good question.
A good one.
That is a good question. I don't know. Like, to torture them?
Yes, absolutely. Like we want bad things for them, because
would they have a redeeming arc too?
There literally are so many terrible people in history. I don't know where to begin. Like, I don't know. It could. All right. You could go anywhere.
A time period.
You could do anything.
All right, we're gonna pick. Just so we're not controversial here, Vlad the Impaler. Vlad the Impaler, put him somewhere in any time in history that's terrible for him.
Fine. Vlad the Impaler waiting in line at the DMV. I think that would be completely terrible. I have to
calm down, Satan.
That's just completely just waiting and waiting. Do you have the right form, sir?
About the DMV.
Stand over in that line, okay?
Yeah, just stand there.
Form A1. You need that other form, sir. Please take it.
No, you can't impale us, sir. We're the DMV.
You can't
we have more
us,
power.
No. Sir, I know you drive an Impala, but it's not that kind of thing. Sir, that's no.
All right, so Eric, before we get out of here, man, plug anything you got going on, any books that you got out. Give us some stuff that you're working on right now.
Okay, so in December, my debut novel, Accursed Sun, releases from Shadow Spark Publishing.
Oh.
Yeah, December, first novel. I have a short story coming out in Conspiracies and Cryptids Anthology called Muskrat Hunter. And
love cryptids.
This past June, I have a story called Never Meet Your Heroes in an anthology called Three Time Travelers Walk Into. And I have another story about like a takeoff of Peter Pan, like kind of like an incel version of Peter Pan. And it doesn't end well for him. Spoiler alert. In in a book called Anthology from Shadow Spark Publishing. So
Listen, I
Shadow
know
Spark
we've
is
just
kind of up and coming. Like I'm seeing
Yeah.
them a lot recently. They're
Mhm.
somebody to watch.
yeah, they're very good people. Yeah.
I was gonna say, Eric, I know we just met, but I love the way your brain works. So like I'm excited, man. I'm in.
That's-
We're gonna have to
that's
check
probably-
these out.
That's like the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me. Welcome to the madness.
Welcome to the insanity,
The
baby.
madness that is me.
All right. Well, Eric, thank you so much for joining us. And guys, you can check out his story, Make Lovecraft Not War, based on World War I. And man, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
All right. It's time. We're almost there. And it's
Time, Daniel.
It's the person I've been waiting the longest to get in here. Because it's the only way that she'll ever talk to me. We've got EL, also known as El Lauretano, and her story, Encarnacion, based on the Mexican War of Independence.
So close, yet so far away, Daniel.
I love that for you, Daniel.
You're on mute.
No, you're muted. You're muted,
We
baby.
can't hear you, El.
Yeah.
Danny, help her quick.
Help her.
Check the button on your mic.
No.
No.
If Danny runs in there, it would be like a cameo for Don't Make It Weird
No,
Again.
don't
Oh my god.
ask
She even
Danny for
has
help.
the curtain that's your favorite color. Like, this is great.
I know. She's my girl.
It's okay. I can answer all of her questions for her.
No, we can't
Nope.
hear you.
Yeah, can't
It's
can't
okay.
hear you, buddy.
Your hair looks really good though.
Yeah, it does.
Do you have a
Look really hot.
whiteboard?
Amazing. Yeah. Well, while she's figuring this
I
out,
can interpret for you.
Sean, can you play my apology music? Because I need to apologize to Dina. Hey, Dina.
It's about damn time.
I called you kid earlier,
You sport.
and I just want you to know that I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Daniel.
So sorry. Sorry.
Stop. You're the only person that can call me kid. It's okay.
Okay. El,
Sport.
you can hear me, right, El? Give me a nod if you can hear me. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you
Okay,
using
wait.
the
I
Blue
can read her
Yeti?
lips. Let's go.
Oh my god. You're using the Blue Yeti mic. Okay. Is the red light blinking or solid? Or
That's a
off?
yes.
Blinking.
Blinking.
That means it's muted. So press the button really hard till it stops blinking. No,
Can you hear me?
Not for a long
This is me
time.
interpreting.
Just
Yeah.
oh my god. Are you
Like, press it
reading
once.
now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She said yeah.
Is
But,
it
oh,
still
did it do it?
blinking?
No.
Not
Okay.
blinking. Okay. We can
Now
use
at
this
the
entire
bottom-
bit.
At the bottom of the screen, is there a settings button in StreamYard for you?
I knew this was gonna happen.
Oh my gosh.
Oh wait,
had
I
to
can't
be
read.
L.
She's laughing. I can't read those lips.
Oh, we got a
Is
dog.
that Danny or a dog on the ground? Okay, I thought that was Danny Army calling to come help her.
Oh my god.
Okay.
That's it.
There he is.
I forgot that El's husband already calling in to help.
Yes.
Oh shit.
You can turn off the camera while you try to fix it. That's
Yep.
okay.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So, Dina, while we're waiting on the technical difficulties here, what types of projects do you guys have coming up for Lost Boys Press? Like, what are some of the things that we've got coming up down the pipeline?
You would ask me this after a glass of wine already. Is Chad still watching? Am I gonna get in trouble? So we have several novels coming out in 2023. 2023 is going to be Lost Boy Press's biggest year ever. We have close to a dozen novels coming out in 2023 from various authors. We have Empire of Beasts, as Joey is screaming at me right now. That is an anthology that is currently open for submissions. Basically, any sentient animals or beast type worlds.
Don't send us furry erotica, guys. Just don't
Please
do it, please.
Please.
Please. Just Jar
Well,
Jar
I
only, no
mean-
furries.
Yeah, I don't know what Joey's into, but I don't think he's gonna be into furry
Yeah.
erotica. So if I know him at all, so yeah, let's not do furry erotica. So yeah, we have Empire Beast. That will be our fall anthology. We're going down to one anthology in 2023. because we have so many books coming out next year. It's crazy. We've got your book coming out, Nothing Special. I can't really talk about the others because I don't.
Thunderstruck. Yeah, we
Their
got
marketing
Thunderstruck. We
plan
got
hasn't
Nothing
started.
Special. We got Marshmallows. We got a ton of
Marshmallows
stuff, man.
is out for pre-sale now. It's the follow-up companion novella to Not Quite Out by Louise Willingham. I almost called her Lou. Not Quite Out is an award-winning novella, and this is the follow-up to it, so kind of book 2-ish.
Yeah.
We've got, I think it'll be just as big. You can buy that now on lostboyspress.com or Amazon or anywhere you can buy books. It's pre-sale though.
Yeah, and listen, I've gotten, because I'm going to be a hipster here and just say I'm better than you peasants. I've gotten a little look at, the first chapter from Ashley's fantasy story that she's working on. And if you thought that Ashley's previous works were amazing, you're going to be freaking blown out of the water, dude. This, I got a little taste of it.
Game.
It's so good.
You got the tickle?
Got the tickle. Got a little tickle.
Tickle the pickle. Shout out Shannon. We have a sort of kind of secret author that is potentially debuting in 2023. I'm very excited for her. Yeah, that one's going to be really good.
Can you hear me?
I can't really. Talk about that one.
We have
yes.
We have Elle.
Oh,
Yes.
No video.
Are you on?
oh my gosh! Of course,
We're
that would
live.
happen.
Bring your video back and we're good to go.
Don't make it
Okay.
weird.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for Danny to leave.
Yeah, Danny
made it weird.
Danny?
He is trying to make
Danny
it weird.
can
Shut the door, babe.
He took his pants off, didn't he?
He almost
Damn
Have
it.
a doctoring.
Yeah, Danny
Okay.
doesn't have clothes on. Oh, there he I saw him.
Hey!
Excellent. Elle, welcome back.
Hi.
Oh my gosh.
I figured that was
So
going to
with-
happen with like our person.
Of
I was
course.
like, yeah, absolutely.
And of course it's me. And Daniel,
Yeah.
FYI, it's Lauretano, not Lauretano.
Listen,
He
There's
was
no
so
N.
close.
There's
So
no N.
close.
So close.
He likes to
still
add
pretty.
random consonants to the middle of people's names. I don't know why. He's done it forever. He called Ashley like Hutchinston or something like that when she was on the show.
You wrote it that way, sir.
No,
That
but
was
you
on
added extra T's, bro. You were like
Okay, I did
Hutchinson, like
Well,
you
my favorite
stuttered
thing is-
so hard. Did we cut that out? I don't remember.
Yeah, I
No,
mean,
you
listen, I
definitely
just
did it
like
wrong.
adding plurals to people's last names. So you should be E.L. Lauretano's.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. There we go.
Good Lord.
Oh my God, we have the entire clan of your family in here bullying me right now, and
Oh,
I
they
will not
absolutely,
stand
I'm
for
sure
it.
they are.
Lena Monster, I don't want to hear a word from you, madam. All right.
This is paradise.
Oh, God, unbelievable. All right, guys, so it's time to get started here, and you know what? No, because I have to have the wild card question. Dina, you're up first.
God damn it. I knew you were going to do that to me.
Yeah, sorry,
Oh,
buddy.
dear.
Okay, Elle, what was it about the Mexican War of Independence that drew you in, and what inspired your very, very, very unique twist to this one?
Yeah, so it's the Mexican-American War, and I actually, to be quite honest, was not planning on writing a story at all for this. I'm not huge into war. I even posted on Twitter with Lost Boys Press that I was not planning on submitting because I just didn't have a story. And minutes after I did that, this nudge in my life,
Yeah, what a jackass.
known as Donk, some people affectionately call him Donk, texted me and was like, "You absolutely must write something." So I was like, "Okay, I will look for a war, and if I can find something that sparks my interest, maybe I will write a story." So I went through lists of wars and tried to find something, and ended up looking through battles of the Mexican-American War, and I found the Battle of I'm probably going to butcher it, but La Angostura, and found that General Santa Anna actually marched there with his army from San Luis Potosi, which is where my husband's family is from. And that just immediately sparked my interest. And then doing additional research, found out about these soldaderas, these female soldiers who had participated in. They're more well known for participating in the Mexican Revolution, but when you look up the Mexican-American War in this battle in particular, you find that 1/5 of the army that marched north with General Santa Anna was female, and it took off from there. And so I was really interested in exploring, who are these women? You know, why did they join these wars? And as for the twist, magical realism is just so ingrained in Latin American literature that it just kind of flowed naturally. I'm really fascinated by religion. I don't consider myself religious, but I'm fascinated by religion. Religion is very inherent to this area and this culture, and fascinated also by magic and the interplay between those two things. You also, when you read about this particular battle, historians actually believe that this battle possibly could have turned the tide of the Mexican-American War. And if that had happened, California may not be part of the United States. Texas may not be part of the United States. New Mexico may not be a part of the United States. So that also intrigued me significantly. So I wanted to explore, well, what happens if they did actually win? What happens if they were well provisioned enough to not back away?
I think one of the things that I loved about your story so much is that you showed strength in feminism in a very different way, because I think that, and listen, I love strong female characters, absolutely love them. But a lot of times I think we get in that point where, like, we want them to be the warriors, we want them to be the badasses, but you showed a different kind of strength because your characters were mothers, sisters, they were daughters, they were there to help with the support structure in the camp, and then they got wrapped up in everything. And so I guess talk to me about the different types of strength shown by your characters, the less typical.
Yeah, I mean, strength isn't, just grabbing a sword and running out there and wanting to be on the front lines. Strength, it can be for sure, and there is a space for that, but strength is just everyday fighting for your family, fighting for the people that you love, fighting for the day-to-day chance to just live your life, that, and that's really what inspired me.
I love it. So what are some takeaways you want your readers to get from this story? What are some things that you want from this?
Are you just taking over the whole interview?
Because you had question 1, and then I kind of stole question 2 because I really wanted to ask about that. So I'm a little bit of
yeah. So that was your question 2. So now it's my question 3. But that's okay.
Fine,
Keep
whatever.
Keep going, sport.
Dina, have I told you that I love your hair?
Thank you. Actually, I think that the consensus was that you had better hair today.
Today,
which you do. You do. It's a constant daily battle, but it's fine. No, your hair looks really good today. I really like it. You did.
Thank you. I've learned from the best. No, but what do I want people to take away from this? War is big. It's driven by things that are mostly outside of people's control, but ultimately it has consequences at the most individual, the most local, the most familial level. And at the end of the day, everybody's impacted. When war comes, everybody suffers. But even in that suffering, there are moments of joy and moments of love.
Love that answer.
That showed in your writing. Keep going, Daniel. You're on a roll.
No. You got it, Dina. I believe in you.
No, we've got 3 questions and then a wild card. Go ahead.
Girl.
No. I'm not.
Wild card.
No, I'm not being nasty. Go ahead.
Oh my God.
Real, it's your wild card question. I'm not going to take your wild card.
We got to talk about resiliency, Dina.
Daniel, stop fucking arguing with me. Just at the wild card.
Guys, calm down. Elle is actually married, so you don't need to fight over her.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. All right, Elle. I need you to answer a very important wild card question for me.
Okay.
It's a 2-part question.
Oh dear.
It's
Number
a
1,
7.5 part question.
Yeah, it's true. With your husband here, will you make eye babies with me?
Absolutely not. I only make eye babies with my husband.
Oh, such a gross question.
Question number 2.
Fucktard.
Question number 2. Could you spend the next 2 minutes telling all the great qualities of your husband, Dan, and tell us why he's
I
amazing
hate
and why you
this.
love him?
We were just talking about feminism and empowerment.
Elle, you are
and
not
you're doing
required
this.
to answer that question
Do
at all
not.
in any capacity.
Oscar the Grouch enters the war. Whose side would he be on, first of all?
Yeah.
Second of all, would he win?
Oh man. Oscar the Grouch would definitely be on the Mexican side, and he
Hell yeah.
absolutely would win. He
would crush it.
Absolutely.
He would crush it.
Absolutely. And
He
guys,
might be a grouch, but he is a lovable grouch.
Yes.
And guys, listen, man, I'm incredibly biased about this, but I'm so freaking proud of Elle and this story that she put out, because I got a backstage look on the work that she put in, the effort that she put in, and she is such a freaking naturally incredible writer. And just when I got the chance to beta read this, I was just so freaking blown away. And I hope you check it out, guys. I hope you give this a chance, because this is, that first book that she's ever gotten to publish. That first story, and I can tell you with some of the other projects I know she's working on, this isn't going to be the last one. I mean, Elle, talk us through what you're feeling right now with your first ever publication.
Oh man, dude. I am on cloud 9. I am elated. This has been a dream of mine for years, that I just put off because life, and I am just so happy to have my words out there for people to read. So thank you for making me do this and for pushing me to write it.
I feel like, so I got Ronnie onto Twitter, you got Elle onto Twitter, and I feel like that's just the key to success. Like, just get Daniel or Dina to get you on Twitter, and here you go. Like,
we're the kingmakers.
That's the one thing that will make it happen.
But yeah, Elle, thank you so much for coming on. I cannot wait to check out your other books. You better start getting back into the one that we're talking about right now. I'm going to start bullying you about this next, because the world needs to read this freaking story, and I want to make that very clear.
I will.
All right.
I've said it live, so it's happening.
That's right. It's verbal. All right, Elle, thank you guys so much for joining us. Again, check out her story. Oh, God, I'm going to screw this one. Encarnacion, based on the Mexican War of Independence. Guys, check this whole thing out. It's in the Great War as Anthology. Elle, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
Dina, does it have to end? Do we have to go home now?
We are going to bring each of our contributors back just for one last shout out to their socials, and possibly if anyone has any specific questions for any writer in particular who you saw today or read their story in the Great Wars Anthology, that's your opportunity. So why don't we bring the first group back, Daniel?
Let's bring them on back, baby.
All right.
Moving on up.
We're going to go back in the original order because some of these people, it's very late for them. So
God, I hope Steven's still here.
What's
Yes,
up,
he is
Steven?
still here. Let's go.
Yo.
All right. We got the whole crew. Okay.
Guys, wait. Yeah, it's funny. I'm going to say it. So in the chat between the hosts and the authors and everything right now, there's 69 messages.
Nice. Nice.
So this is the first group. We have Mark, Ben, Craig, Shaliz, and Steven back. So anyone in the chat, if you have any questions for any of these authors in particular, shout them out now. And
while we're waiting for some questions to come in from the audience, guys, we'll start out just because you're on my screen first. Steven, give some of the shout outs for some of the socials and some of the stuff you're working on right now.
On Twitter, it's @DJ Howard. I'm working on very little at the moment, to be honest.
You're
touching up a
working on
few.
raising a human being. That's not a
Yeah,
Crazy.
pretty much. I get to the laptop once in a while, but I had a story come out in Dai Kaiju Zine
Does it tight?
yesterday. Thank you. Called The Thompson Curse. That's available. I've tweeted that, so if you follow me on Twitter, you'll find that it's a free e-zine. That's just a horror flash fiction. Other than that, I'm just working on a few bits in the background that may eventually see the light of day, but we'll see.
And Mark, give us some of your socials where people can find you. And I know we talked a little bit about your book, but do you have some other stuff coming out as well?
You can find me on Twitter at Iskandros, Iskandros. And my website is Mellon Writes again, not rides, Writes, WRITES. I've got a short story right now out, Melkart and the Crocodile God, in the summer 22 issue of Cersova magazine. And I also have, I'm on the cover story of the August issue of Mystery Magazine. I got a story of Rat Killer there.
Nice.
And I just finished writing a fantasy novel called, first of what I hope is a trilogy called Death Gods of Atlantis. Thanks a lot.
Awesome, man. Dude, that sounds incredible. Ben, what you got, man? I know we kind of touched a little bit during the interview, but give some of the socials, man. Let's get another shout out in here.
Yeah, primarily public wise. I'm on Twitter, BHROME, all one word. And I do have a website. It is my name, benhrome.com. I have a lot of different things that are on there, including publication lists, toy photography, thought pieces, all kinds of stuff. Working wise, you can get Voices of Verona Anthology Volume 1 now, which has my short story, Equanimous Business. I can't even say it. I spelled it out in the title and I can't even say it. It's Equanimous Business. It's the last story in the anthology. It ties them all together. I also have a story from last year anthology called Loose Threads. It's a what if happened after the War of the Worlds, 25, 30 years later, which is fascinating. And then I've got all kinds of game stuff working right now with Renegade Legion. It's getting that launched up, and then a new RPG as well. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot.
Can I ask a
Plus my
question?
real job. Yes.
Yeah.
What's RPG?
Role
This
playing
might
game.
make me look stupid, but
honey.
it's fine. Oh,
honey.
okay. I didn't know that. It's fine.
Dino.
Listen, it's fine. Once he said it, I knew what it was. But you know what? It had to be asked. So
Totally
whatever.
fine. Totally fine.
Nobody invites me to play like Dungeons and Dragons or anything like that. So
Well, it's I wish I had known that a year or so ago. We just wrapped up our 7-year Star Wars campaign.
7 years.
Yeah,
Holy
well,
shit.
yeah, that was our
I can't
longest. I did
commit.
one in college that was 4 years
Non-stop,
and
by
had
the way. For 7 years straight.
no, it
Hadn't
was
seen daylight.
Instantly sweating. That's too
Oh
much
my-
commitment.
No,
Oh
we
my
did. It was once a week for 7 years. We did Fantasy Flight Games, Edge of the Empire
I like
series,
anybody that much.
and previous to that, I did that one had. I think we just finished with 11 players. The one I did in college was the West End Games version back in the and that one ended. We ended the last game after 4 years with 30 players, which was awesome. It was the Battle of Endor, 30 players. It was pretty sweet, pretty epic.
Listen, you're talking me and Sean's favorite language right now, so we might be DMing you after this. So
Yeah, go ahead. It's fine.
all
with me.
right, Shaliz, our young superstar. I don't know what you've got that you're willing to like in a professional capacity as far as socials, or if you don't want to, that's
Yeah, let's
totally
be
fine.
careful because there's a lot of creepy people online.
Yeah,
but
listen, I don't
you
want to put
have
you in any
something.
weird spot, but if you have a website or something for your work that people can go to.
I actually don't really have any socials. I have a Pinterest, but I don't think that counts.
It actually does for publishing. Like
Really?
people actually care about if you want to promote your Pinterest, you can.
I don't
In
know.
publishing, we do care.
It's kind of embarrassing. So
Okay, no. Then we'll keep it private. It's okay.
yeah, but my name is pretty like no one else has this name. So if you look me up, you'll be able to find me.
Fair enough. All right, man. Well, hey, I again cannot wait to check out what you're doing. I want to read more stuff by you, dude. So, as always, if you need anything, reach out to our writing community, and we'd love to be whatever support we can be for you. All right. And Craig, buddy, hit us with it. What you got?
Well, so my Twitter is at Malice Momentous, MALICE MOMENTOUS. And that's probably the easiest way to find me online. It's where I, do all of my shameless self-promotion. I occasionally put some microfiction up on there, complain about movies from time to time, that kind of thing. And as far as writing stuff that's coming down the pike, my plan currently is to teach during the school year and write during the summer. So any longer form stuff, I'll be sure to squawk about it on my Twitter.
Awesome, man. Well, hey, guys, thank you so much for joining us. You've got to check out all their stories in the Great Wars Anthology. It's sickening how much talent is in this book, man. Thank you guys so much for being a part of this show.
A round of applause for everybody here, and let's say goodnight to this round of contributors here: Stephen, Shaliz, Ben, Mark, and Craig. Have a great night, you guys.
Thank you, guys. All right, let's get round 2 in here.
Oh, bitch. Sorry.
Oh, good. It's just Ronnie. All right.
Oh, can we hear you?
Do not bring up that trauma so soon.
Dude, that is trauma. That is trauma.
I will forever remember that.
No, it was great because we got to see Danny army crawl.
That was the best.
It was my favorite moment. It was so good.
That is a classic moment. Sean's already clipped it, right, Sean?
Boop, boop.
Boop, done.
Thanks, buddy. All right, Ronnie, since you're first on my screen, tell me, where can the folks find you and anything you got coming down the pipeline?
Well, I'm mostly just on Twitter because of Dina. I'm at Chibi Tweets. That's with a Z at the end. All my stuff has Chibi in it. So, I mean, I do have an Instagram. It's Chibigrams, but it's all dogs. So if you like dogs, you can follow me there.
Superior form of social media is dogs.
Yes, true. I don't really know. This was my first time being published, so I'm still, learning about writing and how that works. I've been working on a couple things, so we'll see what happens.
Excellent.
We need to get you a website, girl.
Yeah, we gotta get you a website. All right, and MJ, buddy, hit us with the socials. What do you got coming up, and where can folks find you?
I am Baliseth basically everywhere. It's BALISETH. The only exception is TikTok, where I am Baliseth Writes. And I also have a website, which is mjfalke.wordpress.com. But there's not a whole lot on there yet. I'm still building that.
Fair enough. All right. And Elle, can I ask you a question, Elle?
No, Daniel. Elle, how about you tell us what your social media is? Where can the folks find you? Just ignore Daniel. Just look at me.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah.
I feel like he's trying to make eye babies again.
Yep,
trying
that's
to
exactly what he's doing.
Yeah. You can find me on Twitter at Lauretano Writes. That's LAURETANO Writes. That's really my only social media. And I'm currently working on an urban fantasy novel with elemental magic. So we'll see if that ever gets done.
It's so good. But before I go, because listen, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you, Elle, what's the superior form of corn?
Oh my god. This isn't even your job.
Daniel.
It's literally my job.
Oh, sorry, what?
Daniel.
Yeah?
No.
Yeah.
No, the wild card questions are over, buddy.
Also, that's my job, is to ask those questions. So you're going to call me a kid and take my job. That's cool. I love that for you.
I don't think we have enough time for me to go through the sorry roll again, but I'll do it off air. Eric!
Yes!
Buddy, tell me where we can find you. Tell me where we can find all the stuff you got coming up.
Okay, yeah, you can tweet at me on Twitter. I have, it's Anger Reporter, at Anger Reporter.
I love it. That's actually a really awesome name.
I was young and dabbled in journalism, so don't hold that against me. And I have a website, ericavedissian.com. and I'm working on a sequel to Accursed Sun that will come out next year. So
that's perfect, man. Like, guys, again, thank you guys so much for coming out. All of your stories freaking blew me away, and I'm so excited that we got to interview you guys and read this book. So check out all the great projects, support all the authors that have been on this show. It's worth it, guys. Thank you all so much.
A round of applause for our contributors tonight. Thank you so much, you guys. Have a great night.
Dina, I think that's it, man. We're out of here. We're gone.
I thought that I had like a funny song or theme song or something to like reference.
Dina, final thoughts, Dina? Final thoughts?
Dina, final thoughts?
Your mom? I don't know.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, I'm good. Perfect.
Night,
Sean, where can the folks find everything Don't Make It Weird?
You can find our website at dmiwpodcast.com. Our YouTube channel, where you're at right now, has all of our episodes dating back to the original one from over a year ago. Go binge watch all of it. We love you. Subscribe. We love you. Buy our merch, and we'll love you even more.
Absolutely.
If you guys want earrings, you can DM me for now because they're not listed on the website.
Sign up for the wait list in Dina's DMs.
That's right. And Dina, where can we find everything Lost Boys Press?
Oh, why did you do this to me? LostBoysPress.com. .shop.
Just a reminder, for the next 48 hours, use promo code GHOST in LostBoysPress.shop to get $2 off your copy of Great Wars, the newest anthology release from Lost Boys Press, featuring stories from all 9 of the amazing authors we interviewed tonight.
And guys, it's not enough hyperbole. These stories are amazing. Literally every single book that comes out from Lost Boys Press, it just blows me away. It's incredible content. You will not regret this. Dina, where can the folks find you?
You can find me on Twitter at DinosaurusD. That's D like D's nuts.
And you can find me on Twitter at DanQWritesThing. That's DanQWritesThing singular.
Actually, it's Donka. It's actually Donka, as said on your official name tag of the stream.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. I can tell. I love it. I love the little thing over the A too. Sean, where's my website?
Daniel, can I ask you a question? Wait, what is that thing over the A called?
You know I don't know the answer to that.
It's called an RPG, Dina.
It's called an RPG.
That was rude.
You can find Daniel's website at dumps4dank.com. That's dumps, DUMPS, the number 4, DANQ.com.
And again, none of this would be possible without our incredible producer, who's the hardest working man in the game and deals with us immature idiots all the time. Producer Sean, where can the folks find you?
You can find me on Twitter at ShaceHoldu.
All right, guys, we are out of here. We can't wait to see you again next week for another episode. Don't Make It Weird. Check out everything Lost Boys Press. We're gone, jazz hands.